Good afternoon, boys and girls. It's your old pal Uncle Stevie here, webcasting live from Mighty Fine Guitars in Bucolic, Lafayette, California. We have a very special guest today. And our guest is Mr. John Datlen, wonderful luthier.
Hi there.
The place is swarming in Datlen guitars.
We've got a few in here, yeah.
What do we got? What's this one?
That's a little 12-fret single-O.
Wow.
That one is Pau Ferro backs and sides.
P-A-U-F-E-R-R-O.
F-E-R-R-O.
I was a spelling champion in grammar school, you know.
Very good, very good.
It was.
Sometimes called Santos Rosewood. It's not actually in the Rosewood family, but seems to act like it.
See, folks, we're getting into the geekery right away. We're not waiting. We're going right for the really obscure Latin terms, and you just got to try and keep up, you know. Grab your thesaurus, and off we'll go. And what have we got on the top here? That's lovely.
A little bit of Sitka spruce. Got a little bear claw going on.
Nice.
Not the real flat kind of big bear claw, but more of a tiger stripe kind of a thing.
Right.
This is a long scale, 25.4, 12 fret to the body.
Long scale and 12 fret. Cool.
Yeah, it's
cool.
got East Indian rosewood bindings and ebony fretboard.
I feel like Carol Merrill. Or what's her name on with the letters? You know, like that. There you go. Oh, hey there, folks. Well, come on in. We're just doing the webcast. Step on in. People just can't wait to get into Mighty Fine Guitars, and who can blame them? With guitars like John Datlen guitars in here, who could say no? And we've got the tuners are 510s.
Yeah, go to a 510s.
Go to 510s.
I really like their machine is just phenomenal.
Yeah.
It's really smooth and they're just great tuners, great all-around tuners.
For whatever reason, there's a bunch of Martin dreadnoughts from the 50s and 60s in right now. I never know what's going to be in. It's just a total crapshoot. Can I say that on NPR? I think so. And for whatever reason, I have a whole bunch of Martins in right now. And the tuners that we all had to have in the 60s, those closed-back Grovers, oh my goodness. They just really don't kind of stand up to the mighty Gotos here. So we've just been joined by the Newlands and Barnett contingent has strolled in. It's fabulous, fantastic. Dropping off a guitar. And what is it that's come in? It's a bass?
Yeah.
Right.
It's a 99 Tacoma Thunder Chief.
A Tacoma Thunder Chief. And you have to say it like that, apparently, or else it doesn't count. A Thunder Chief. Thunder Chief. So if you require it, and there actually has been some interest in basses in the shop here, so I'm trying to carry a little bit of everything. There's a couple of mandolins in here as well, but back to the Datlen here. And this is a single O size, which is, I have to say, you know, so many of us that had to have dreadnoughts in the 60s and 70s because that's what was on the cover of every album we owned, and we always saw those in the photographs. Find that they're a little big to try and wrap ourselves around anymore.
Oh yeah, yeah, especially in a seated position. It's not very comfortable at all.
Seated perhaps on a couch, perhaps watching Netflix or a sporting event. Yeah. This is the size that's kind of where it's at. You bet. And this is the thing, a little guitar doesn't have to sound little. This is...
Jim was just messing. It's probably out of tune.
Yeah, Jim. I'm going to actually tune this one up and everything. It sounds lovely. Oh, and I was going to pop on over, I'm going to send the signal on over to my own page. Talk amongst yourselves for just a moment. Let's see. Maybe I won't. I'll do that later. This is, there are several Datlen guitars in the shop right now, and I don't mind bragging on it if you don't. John came into the shop one weekend with a guitar or two, and one of them got bought on the spot by a rather famous gentleman who shall not be named, but his initials are Jason Newstead. And he had to have one right on the spot and snapped it up and loves it. And he's a big...
It's the model you're holding right now.
It is, isn't it? Yeah. How about that?
Yeah, it was really just kind of a base model, not very much trim, very little purfling. It was just kind of like, let's get the fundamentals down, and he loved it. He actually commissioned another one later and said, "Can you build it exactly like the first one?"
Wow.
Well, you know how that hard
Sure,
that
of
is.
course,
So
yeah,
two
exactly.
guitars that sound exactly the same.
No,
I did my best, and he loves that one too. So.
Great, great. Now you're based in American Canyon?
American Canyon, yeah.
Which is just up the road here a ways.
Just
isn't
up the
it?
road. It's in South Napa County. Yeah, for those who aren't familiar with the Bay Area, it's just just right on the wetlands area of the North Bay. So it's really a nice place.
What do you do in real life? This is becoming more and more your thing.
Yeah,
You've been a wood guy for a long time.
Yes, since high school, basically. I mean, 25, almost 30 years now of experience doing all aspects of cabinet making, furniture, finished carpentry, lathe work, restoration of Victorians, all that sort of stuff for years and years. And I still run a cabinet shop locally, custom cabinet shop. So that's what I do full time. This is what I want to do full time.
Of course. And we want you to too.
Right. This is so much more fun than boxes day in and day out. But we're getting there.
I actually use a tuner here. Using a tuner, by the way, is not cheating. Don't let anybody tell you that that's cheating. Or using a capo, that's not cheating either. In fact, I don't know how anybody played any music with anybody else before we had digital tuners. I don't remember how it was done. I'm in tune. No, I'm in tune.
Just listen to the old recordings.
That's right. You can tell. Just listen to the old recordings, and you can tell we didn't know what we were doing before these came along. The band room at my high school had a stroboscopic tuner, and that was sometimes very frightening to go in there and try and tune up your ill-made guitar from first guitar from high school. Those tuners are so smooth, it's lovely. That's lovely.
Yeah. It's big sound.
Plays great. Sounds great. And it looks great. Everything is just right. Man, oh man. Lovely stuff. So Pau Ferro and
Sitka spruce.
Sitka spruce and bear claw Sitka.
Yeah.
I wonder if you can see the bear claw action in there. It's really lovely. Gives the top a little dimension. And very different from, again, back in the 60s and 70s, we all had to have pound cake on the top. Grain so fine you couldn't even see it. It was very white, and we called it pound cake. Well, that's lovely. And what have I got over here?
That one is actually, that's an orchestra model. It's got a Italian spruce top. That one also is Pau Ferro, backs and sides, so not a lot of variance here. But this is actually, so this is a 14 fret standard shaped Martinesque OM. So that's the one I built, 6 months or so ago. And since then I've redesigned an OM based on, the parameters, the size.
Right.
But
We're all geeks here. You can tell
Yeah.
us what you did that's different.
well, let me grab it. Why don't I just grab it?
Great,
Take a look.
sure.
Compare the two shapes.
Perfect.
This is same 14 fret OM, but it's cutaway version. But I did change the shape of the body quite a bit. I made the lower bout quite a bit rounder, so it's a little longer this way. Kind of just rounded the shape off a little bit more. The waist,
So square here.
yeah. The waist got moved up about an inch, so it's closer to the center line of the sound hole. And just kind of, once you figure out the geometry of your scale length and 14 fret to the body and where the bridge goes, everything else is just kind of designed around that as far as shape. So you can change the shape of the guitar very easily once you just kind of establish the basics. So this is actually the first one of this new series. This is my new OM.
Does it have a cool name like Thunder Chief or anything?
No, not yet. Not
No?
yet. No.
It's
This
a
one,
cool name, yeah.
this one I did with an Adirondack spruce top. It's kind of a ribbon grain mahogany backs and sides.
Wow. Heard it.
Yeah, it's actually this it was a little tough bending it. This has this weird, because of the ribbon stripe, you have this compression grain that's in there, and it can be difficult in the upper bout area, certain areas. But it came out great. The inlays are a maple burl. It's a dyed maple burl, and you may not be able to see this on the webcast, but it's got a kind of this cool greenish blue.
Yes, it does.
Tint to it. Almost looks like stone in a way, but you actually get these knife scales that are used for making custom knives, and they take this maple burl and dye it, but it's acrylicized, so when you cut it, it smells like plastic. It smells like you're cutting a piece of acrylic, and it makes it very stable and fills all the little pores and stuff in. So it works kind of like plastic, but it is a maple burl. So I use that for the inlays here, and inlays in the rosette is also the same material. So
Lovely stuff. I'm going to play them both here. You still have to tune them, kids. Sorry. We haven't quite gotten there yet. And until about 4 o'clock in the afternoon, my ears don't wake up, so I completely rely on the tuner.
Your hair looks nice.
My hair's working today?
Yeah.
Oh, good, good.
So there's that.
I put it on straight today. The glue is working. In the rain, it doesn't work so well. I'm glad it's dry out today. Beefy. Stack up really nicely. I'd be hard-pressed to describe the sound. People always use mahogany. Since so many guitars, the backs and sides are built of either mahogany or rosewood. Those are kind of the two reference woods that people use. Well, it's kind of more like this and less like that. A little more rosewoody than mahogany.
yeah,
It's a Delbergia?
it's not a Delbergia.
It's not a Delbergia. It's got a lot of punch, like a mahogany guitar, and the fundamental is really strong. But then it kind of does that rosewood thing where the frequencies all kind of combine and swirl around each other and keep the sustain going and give it kind of a bigger, more echo chamber sort of sound. It smells good too. What am I smelling? Is that the wood?
No, that's in this guitar I actually used Port Orford cedar bracing. One of the strongest woods as far as strength to weight ratio.
Yeah.
And it's quite stiff. I had some really nice, super tight Port Orford cedar, so I decided, well, let's try this. Seems to have worked.
It works.
Yeah.
In any number.
It smells
of ways.
great.
It smells great.
Yeah.
I'll be right with you.
Yeah.
Maybe not. It's really lovely. Well, here, I'll trade you.
Yeah. So this one.
And this is the newest one?
Yeah, this is the newest one. So this one's been strung up for 4 or 5 days.
Wow.
So you know, it's probably a little bit tighter.
It's a little tighter, yeah, sure. But it's brand new.
Yeah.
Hot off the presses.
And being Adirondack, you know, it's going to get nothing but better.
That's the thing, you know, guitars, I don't think it's pseudoscience. You know, back in college, we all played the game even thinking perhaps it was pseudoscience, that the more you play your guitar, the better it sounds. It really does. So this one needs just a little time to have someone play the daylights out of it. And I believe this is your guitar, young man, behind the camera?
It is my guitar.
How about that? Folks behind the camera today, master of the machines, Josh Isaacs, the gentleman. Gentleman who takes all the photographs, the fabulous photographs on the Mighty Fine Guitars website. There he is, yeah. Did you give yourself a little close-up there? Oh, very good. Yeah, good. Yeah, there he is. That's the guy.
I think it was my teeth.
Oh, good. That's a problem with that camera. It always goes either up your nose or shows your teeth. And you had a little salad right in there.
Yeah.
So spinach or something.
Ooh, big bottom, if you'll pardon the expression. Lovely, lovely.
Steve, we've got a rosette request for that guitar, if you could bring it
Indeed.
up here.
I hope it shows up with my
Let's see.
little low-res camera here on the mighty iPad.
Not too bad.
Maybe check out
A
the.
little bit easier on the back, same material.
Yeah, take a look at the inlays on the back as well, since you're that close.
Yeah, we got a full winner.
Yeah, this business, you can really see the activity in there. That's lovely. That sound strip is...
Yeah, it's really cool.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's-
Sure, sure. Any more questions or comments from the assembled?
No, sir.
Okay. Golly, wonderful. And you know, I've got a Datlen or two here in the shop myself,
Yeah.
and I wanted to
It
feature
might be on the carousel over there.
in particular. There's one, and then there's one up top there too, Jimmy. Jimmy, do you want to play this?
Yeah.
You sure?
Yeah, I'll let you play it.
All right.
Hey, Jim.
Now, what have I got here? What am I holding?
It's been a while.
This has been a while. This one is Sitka and Sapele.
Yeah, that
And
was
Palfaro.
actually, yeah, it was, Palfaro was the bindings on that, Spele backs and sides.
Right.
Sitka spruce top on that.
Mm-hmm.
That was actually, that's been here a little while.
It has, yeah.
That one,
yeah.
what
This is
that?
lovely. Is
Oh,
that
it's a
walnut?
Yeah, it's a
Yeah.
curly walnut rosette there, yeah.
Beautiful.
Did I do the same on the headstock? Yeah, curly
Yes,
walnut headstock.
yes, indeed. Man, oh man. Yes, I do have the best job in the world. I admit it. Lovely guitars, John. Man.
Thank you.
Now this one is one that I confess, I change the strings on this fairly frequently because I play it a ton in lessons and stuff.
Well, this one's been actually, you featured this a couple times on the webcast before.
Let's do it again
Yeah.
since you're here.
That one is just American black walnut. It's got a nice American black walnut with black acacia bindings. It's got a western red cedar top and a bacote fingerboard and bridge. So the woods are a little bit alternative, I guess you could say.
What's the story on Bocote? What family is that?
It comes from Mexico. It's kind of it's not sure what exact family Latin name, but it's kind of an oily wood. It smells a little bit like dill pickles when you cut into it. It's kind of a weird
Cool. And me without my
vinegary
penknife.
smell. But it's an oily wood. People are using it for backs and sides as well.
Bocote, yeah,
Yeah,
sure.
it's sometimes, some of these, of course, with all these woods, it's hard to find really good quality quartered material in the width you need for backs and sides. But I happened upon a couple pieces and I used them for the bridge
Lovely.
and fretboard.
And since we have rosette fans, what have we got going on the rosette here?
Same thing, yeah. That's the same as the bindings, is the
Gotcha.
black acacia.
Acacia.
Yeah, which is sometimes called Australian blackwood. It's a member closely related to koa, which is part of the acacia family.
Man, and this one, like I say, I play all this all the time in lessons and stuff. For a fingerstyle guitar, it's just got this lovely lilt. But it saturates nicely for strumming as well. It's different. It is different from the Martin that you probably have programmed into your ears, or the Gibson or the Guild you played all those years ago, or that Taylor that you've picked up in recent years for the slightly younger folks. But it's really interesting to hear different combinations of woods. And I must say, if I do say so myself, this is the kind of place where you can just kind of sit down, play a bunch of guitars, and see what appeals to you that may be different. People come in and say, well, I'm interested in buying a guitar. I'm a few bucks up, or I got my tax return, or I deserve it. The kids are all off to college. I'm going to get myself a guitar. And often as not, they find themselves kind of stuck thinking, well, none of these sound like my guitar. Right, exactly right. They don't sound like your guitar, and that's kind of the point. So busting out of that, am I right, Jimmy?
Absolutely.
Yeah. But kind of busting out of that and giving yourself an opportunity to listen to some other stuff, to see if love blossoms. Sometimes you can fall in love with a whole different sound on the guitar if you just kind of give yourself permission to step outside the Martin, whatever that Martin sound is, that kind of saturation in the low mid-range that's very warm and cozy and comfy. But you might find yourself, falling in love with something that's, walnut or a cedar top, for crying out loud. There's a whole A minor suite you can do. Guitars love A minor, I must say. A minor, man. this one?
Good.
How much for this one, John?
We should discuss this. I love coming to Mighty Fine just to watch Stevie play. It's just great.
Oh, thanks.
Whenever
Thanks.
I
Jeez.
need a concert, I just say, hey, Stevie, I just finished this guitar. Try it out. I get a little concert.
Well, how about that?
Don't pay a dime for it.
Oh, thanks. Thanks very much. John Datlen Guitars. We got him here at Mighty Fine Guitars, folks. If you've not been over to the website, please do check it out. Let's see, do we have shows this weekend? We do not. The next show actually is me and Glenn Houston from Houston Jones on May 12th will be playing in the big room right on the other side of that wall there as the Quitters. And then after that, I think it's the very next week, we have Bill Evans' banjo show coming in, which is great. The Banjo in America, terrific show. Even though it's about banjo, you know, it's still terrific, and it really is. No fooling. There's lots of banjo jokes out there. In fact, I think the first thing I ever looked up on the web, when the web came along, somebody sent me the canonical list of banjo jokes.
Oh, wow.
So that was, and something about whiskey as well. So it was a big day in a boy's life. All those years ago. Well, John Datlen, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Can we find you online anywhere? Have you got a website or any of that stuff?
Yeah. I've recently started a website, datlenluthiery.com. I'm on Instagram as well, at datlenluthiery, and Facebook page as well. So pretty much any social media almost.
MySpace?
Nope.
No? Really?
MySpace.
Why not?
Well, you know.
Yeah.
That's
And
something my kids did a while back.
Oh, man, yeah.
Quite a while
There's a lovely song out there, as I recall. Oh, somebody's got,
Stevie's that good.
that's, An Angel Got Its Wings. I'm sure that's what that is. Thanks very much for tuning in, folks.
Yeah, thank you.
John Datlen, Stevie Coyle here signing off from Mighty Fine Guitars. We'll see you down the road.
All right. Bye-bye.